Good morning. Man, the calm before the storm, we can call it today, because it is literally the calm before we get hit with some afternoon showers. Good morning, guys. I'm Trooper Steve, your WKMG News 6 traffic safety expert. Of course, we're always coming to you live here in Results 1. And last month, if you remember, we did WKMG Hits The Road, the East Orange County area, and we really focused in on what you wanted us to focus on. This month, we're in Sanford, y'all, the 32771 zip code. Now, of course, if you're right around that area, you're part of the family too, and we have been diving into really what's important to you guys. What is the big thing in every community? Traffic, right? So we're going to meet with Renee. She's a viewer, and we're going to meet with her in about a couple of minutes, but I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about the community of Mellonville. I didn't know it existed, okay? I'm going to be completely transparent just because we tend to lump a lot of towns into cities. And what do I mean by that? So if you think, how often do you think of the Belle Isle area? It is an incorporated city, but it's Orange County. And especially these little communities that have been around for so long and have so much history, really, as to why it even exists. So I figured we'd drive around. We're here with the purpose of a pedestrian concern here in the Mellonville area. And let's just drive around a little bit before we pick Renee up and see what we can see. So it's pretty much a really residential community. It is 100% residential, and it sits just south of the Lake Monroe area. So during the Seminole Wars of 1830s, the area was the site of the U.S. Army post name, guess, Fort Mellon, right? So everything's got some history to it. So when settlers moved into this area, the town of Mellonville was established. Keep in mind, I'm saying a town of Mellonville, not a city, okay? So it is just simply a town. And it was established with the advent of commercial steamboat service right here in the Sanford area. The town became a pretty cool distribution point back in the day for goods and things like that. And for all this essential growth was the future, really, of the Orlando area. So you got to think, Orlando really isn't the first. There's so many outside communities that existed really before big buildings and theme parks. And I think that's something that we should be really proud of. And you could tell a lot of these homes are not necessarily bad. They're just older homes. I live in a extremely older home in the city of Lake Mary. So you got to remember, there's a lot of history in a lot of these towns. So Henry Shelton Sanford, obviously, with the city of Sanford is named after, purchased the land west of Mellonville. He planned a new city, the Gate City of South Florida, which he believed to become the transportation hub in southern Florida, which is pretty cool. Because you drive around towns or anywhere on your daily drive, and you never really even think about certain things or the history that possibly could be there. And this is a big one here. In 1877, so many moons ago, the city of Sanford was incorporated, so the city limits were designed, and Mellonville was annexed 6 years later. So what do I mean when I say annexed? It was a town outside of Sanford, and when something gets annexed, they are creating Mellonville as part of the city of Sanford. We hear about things like this taking place in our community in modern day, right? City of Orlando trying to annex certain things in East Orange County. This happens for growth purposes and things like that. So pretty interesting. What's something we're seeing as we're driving around in this older area? We're seeing homes to the right here, a little older, right? And then as you're cruising around, a lot of construction, and then you have newer construction. So Mellonville is seeing a little bit of a facelift as we're driving around here, and I am picking up some places you have sidewalks, some places you don't, which is always interesting. And it's a little concerning at times, because when you have signs like this that say watch for children, but then there are no signs or sidewalks, makes it a little difficult for pedestrians to get around. And that's why we're here today. We're going to be meeting with Renee. Renee is a loyal News 6 viewer. and she has some concerns about why the infrastructure is the way it is. And as we're pulling in, the first thing I can notice here, a lot of newer home construction's going up. Very modern, meaning Mellonville is a hot spot. This is a place for growth. And it may be your average size home, but we are seeing very modern styles. Like, look at this one here, this newer construction taking place here. You would not expect that here in the Mellonville area. But with the construction, what don't I see? I sure don't see sidewalks being put in. And we are currently in the city of Sanford. So we're going to pick up Renee here in just a moment. I'm going to pull up so she can hop on in and chat with us this morning and see what she's got to say. She looks like might be a newer resident to the area, and we'll have a good conversation. But it is nice to know that there are newer homes or rebuild homes coming into what would be considered a historic community, right? And having things like this shows hope that, hey, an older community can redo itself and then look pretty nice. It's exciting to see stuff like this, but it is concerning to me that I have not seen a sidewalk south of, let's pull my GPS up here. So when we were driving 20th Street at Mellonville, north of there, I was seeing older sidewalks. Now, south of this area, I'm not seeing any sidewalks. Just texting Renee and letting her know that we're outside and ready for her. But that's something that we want to make sure gets done. I know Eric Sandoval was just recently out here and we covered it, and his story is going to air tonight. So you're going to make sure you're going to want to watch that this evening in the evening news, because Eric dives deep into some of the infrastructure problems out here, and guess who he did it with? He did it with Renee. So Renee's going to hop in the truck with us here this morning, and she's going to join us. Good morning. Sorry for the Wendy's cup right there. I didn't even forgot to throw that away.
Good morning.
Good morning, Renee. Welcome to Results One. I know you've already had the News 6 experience with Eric Sandoval recently.
Yes.
But this is just a little different because we are live. We're streaming live right now over at clickorlando.com, News 6 Plus, and the News 6 app. Usually it takes about 3 minutes for the nerves to leave.
Right.
I learned the hard way a few times because being in the truck and my personality, I was letting it kind of come out too much, and then I get frustrated on the road, and my producer's like, Steve, you're streaming and you're getting really upset. And I was like, okay, I'll calm down. So thank you so much for coming out here. First, you're a News 6 watcher, huh?
I am.
Every
morning.
How long have you been watching News 6?
Many years.
Many years.
Yes.
And how long have you been a Mellonville resident?
4 months.
4 months?
Yes.
And a transplant from?
I lived in this area. I went to UCF, so
okay.
I grew up in Daytona, moved here when I went to UCF, and stayed ever since.
So when you moved into Mellonville, where'd you move? Where were you previously living?
Lake Mary.
Lake Mary. Okay, I'm a Lake Mary resident.
Okay.
So one thing I noticed immediately coming out here, it's a little split. So I hit 20th Street, and then north of there, you have the older sidewalks that are there. But
yes.
Anything south of 20th,
yeah,
there is nothing.
No.
And yet there were two crews of...
There's a walker right there.
Right, on the street. We'll actually head that way so we could prove a point here, but we're going to be real careful, obviously. But there's no pedestrian infrastructure, and I don't even want to be mean about it, but there's nothing.
Exactly.
Like this gentleman here, obviously walking, doing what he's supposed to be doing. I can't get over because other traffic's coming.
Right. There's no shoulder. There's nowhere to go. Like, you just have the 2 lanes.
So what have you seen out here that's drawn for you to reach out to News 6 and be like, hey, what the heck is going on? What happened?
So it's just driving with people pushing baby strollers, walking their dogs, kids riding their bikes. There's a school. There's 2 schools less than 2 miles from here. So if you're less than 2 miles, technically you walk or you ride your bike. Well, there's nowhere for the kids to walk or ride their bikes. So
you're encountering this on a daily basis?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So have you reached out to the city at any point?
I have not.
Okay. So I think the ultimate goal is for us to obviously draw attention to this. There's construction happening all over the place, but I see no At least there's no looks like there's any plans
No.
to have anything put up.
And there's so much construction going on out East Sanford that,
Okay.
and this is a main thoroughfare to get to downtown Sanford. So a lot of people, use this road now to get to downtown Sanford. It's become so much more traveled, and the speed limit is supposed to be 25, but
Okay.
very rarely do people go 25. So you add that with no sidewalks, and it's just an accident waiting to happen, unfortunately.
Now, have you ever seen a crash since being out here, or
I
any
have
close
not.
calls or anything like that?
I have not.
It does surprise me that you're the first one to complain to us.
I know.
Because it was funny, I was on my way out here and I'm texting my producer and I'm going, this is bad. Like, there's zero
Right.
place for anyone to go anywhere. And I'm actually surprised that there's never been any type of incident along Mellonville.
I agree. And I have a neighbor that has two little ones,
Okay.
one and 5, and he has no sidewalks, because on my street there's no sidewalks. Most of the side streets do not have sidewalks in that particular area.
Well, anything south of 20th, before we went live, I went cruising around just so I had a little idea of what I was dealing with. And I'm trying to figure out what would be the designator. So the goal for me is to reach out to traffic management and be like, hey, look, north of there you have sidewalks. I'm going to say sidewalks because they're super old.
Right.
But they're there.
Yes.
So, and they're out of the road. But once you cross into your area, there's truly nothing. No bike lane. And the biggest thing I think you pointed out, the no place of a shoulder.
Right.
Which, for those watching this morning, a shoulder does provide a safe space for a vehicle to pull over, or even just give space in the travel lane. It doesn't even exist,
Right.
which is odd. When you spoke with Eric, what was the premise of y'all's conversation there?
So he came out and walked down Mellonville, and he did point out that he touched base with Public Works. He was
Okay.
supposed to have a meeting with Public Works. I'm not sure if they were able to.
Well, the good thing is that's going to
together.
air tonight. That story
Okay.
airs tonight,
Okay.
so I'm sure Eric will have an update. Eric does not allow a question to go unanswered, I tell you that. So we're now on the south end here of Mellonville. We're going to go head north here, and we've got a construction vehicle now. So earlier there were 3 street sweepers that went by, and then traffic was coming up the other way, and I'm sitting there like stressing out
Right.
in it because no one could go anywhere. And then behind me, thank goodness the young man didn't go out to the road, but he was on a bicycle and he was like, no, I'm not going out there, and came back into the community. I was pulled off here on the right. Ever see any enforcement out here?
No, I
No.
don't. I'll be honest, I do not. And there's a lot of beautiful oak trees. There's obviously power poles.
No, this place is gorgeous. I can understand why you lived here, why
But-
you moved here.
But safety should be paramount for our citizens. I mean, we've got to have a place for people to walk on this very busy road.
Well, because it looks like this is the type of community that has very residential vibes to it. People are out and about. Kids are playing in the streets. People are walking their dogs.
Right.
Like, look at these oak trees. Is this an oak tree? Are these oak trees?
There's a lot of oak trees.
They're nice trees. I'll
Yes.
say that. And I would want to be out walking around in a community like this. But see, this is for those watching. They're out of the front dash right now. As you approach 20th Street here, suddenly we have sidewalks.
Right.
But what about everyone south of this area?
And another interesting thing is that the beautiful Riverwalk Trail that goes
Okay.
by Lake Monroe, the trail ends at Mellonville, and there's no trail that goes to 415, which is where it connects again.
So they have to figure out how
So-
to get to that side without.
So there's cyclists that come on this road too. So you can imagine, if you have a group of cyclists on this tiny road, also that creates some safety issues. But there's nowhere for the cyclists to go to connect to that 415 trail. So there's no trail. They have
Right.
to ride on Celery or ride on Mellonville to get
To
the
figure
other
out how
part.
to get over
Right.
there. Okay. Huh. I don't normally have head scratching moments. I'm like, I'm perplexed at the moment just because in the Lake Mary area, as you know, the trails are fairly organized.
Oh, yes.
They maintain. You've got almost a 12 to 13 foot wide trail
Right.
everywhere you go. And then if you're coming out here, so this would be Celery up here,
Yes,
right?
this is Celery.
And then the trail ends.
The trail ends at Lake Monroe.
Okay.
At Mellonville. So if you go straight to the lake,
Uh-huh.
that's where the trail ends. So anybody that's riding the trail or walking the trail has to walk. There is sidewalks here, but the cyclists don't ride on the sidewalk.
Right.
And it is wider here.
But still, there's no detour, there's no indication, and it's probably not the best grade for the bicyclists that are actively using that trail.
And this Celery Road, because of all the construction out east, is just insane now. And it's so dangerous for cyclists as well.
I travel out to New Smyrna a lot, and when I head out that way, there tends to be, I'm trying to figure out where, a good place to turn around. There tends to be a lot of cyclists right there, smack in the middle of the road, and I'm just like, guys, I understand, but this is not a good situation to place yourself in. Do you cycle?
I do sometimes.
Okay, no.
But I have a lot of friends that do.
Well, so. Yeah, I want, of course,
yes.
If you don't, you don't, but I'm sure since moving to your community here, did you build that home?
Yes.
It is gorgeous.
Thank you.
And that's one of the coolest things that I was saying before I picked you up was a lot of people seem to be coming out here because the community is really nice.
It's amazing here. Yes.
It's historic. Mm-hmm. Before I picked you up, I gave a little history lesson that it was created in the early 1800s, and then annexed not long after that by the man himself, Mr. Sanford. So I could understand the historic vibe to it, and when you pull into it, you're like, man, this is a residential community.
Absolutely.
How far is your local grocery store?
We just have a new Publix out east.
Okay.
So I'm not even. It's probably 2-3 miles.
But yet, then when you're in your neighborhood, you don't even expect any of that,
right?
Because it has that country kind of vibe to it.
Right. We just got that Publix too.
See, nice.
Yes.
But other things need to be updated too if you're gonna. Okay, sir, let's cross when you're supposed to cross. Thank you. That's another problem. People just walking out in front of cars. But that's a whole nother stream on a whole nother day. So when you're out and about, are you a walker? Do you use your neighborhood?
I do.
Have you ever run into a problem where you've had to step completely out of the road because there's no place for you to go?
So, funny thing, one of my best friends moved to a house on Mellonville, and I have to walk, when I walk to her house, I have to walk on other people's yards to get to her house because there's no sidewalk. And then you can see when you're walking how fast people are going and how it's just crazy dangerous.
Wow. Man. So, any altercations, any confrontations with people?
No.
Or is everyone pretty courteous to each other when it comes out here?
So, I mean,
honestly,
I don't live exactly on Mellonville, so I don't see it, but I know
you
my friend...
You can throw a rock to it. You're pretty close to it.
But my friend, she gets a lot of trash in her yard. She has a lot of people walking in her yard. People have to take their bikes through her yard.
Okay.
So she does get that. I mean, you may get that with sidewalks too, but she says that she's had her mailbox hit 2 times from people that are supposedly going 25 on a road.
Oh my gosh. I can definitely say in my time as a Florida State Trooper, I've worked my fair share of hit and run mailboxes and giving an incident report and stuff like that. So this is ultimately what our goal is, and I'm sure it's going to be Eric's goal. So tonight his story will air, and based off of, I don't obviously want to create double the work. So if he's gotten some results for us tonight, our mission's kind of done.
Okay.
But I have a good reputation. I like to say it's good. Some people don't like it, of being an extremely squeaky wheel. Squeaky wheel gets the oil.
That's right.
Right? So we will definitely follow up, reach out to traffic management out in here in the city. City politics gets a little interesting, takes a few more steps to get to, but City of Sanford can be very good when it comes to answering questions for us pretty quickly. We've got a good relationship with them.
Okay.
So we will reach out to them. I'm just as curious about this, especially because it's traffic safety and it's 100% in my world.
Right.
Like it's confusing to me. Like you pull into this part, main road doesn't have it, and there's no sidewalk here.
There's no sidewalks here either. Yes.
But yet, every corner has a watch for children.
Right.
Safety sign. the like that's what bothers me a little bit. It's like, oh yeah, you guys put a sign, but how can they be safe in the street?
Right. Right.
Kind of thing. All right, so Renee, I'm going to drop you back off.
Okay.
Keep in mind weather aware today.
Yes.
I'm sure you saw.
I heard it on the news.
Saw Candace's report this morning.
Yes.
And thank you for being a loyal watcher. We really appreciate it. I love your mailbox. I'm not going to show. I don't want to give everyone your address out there, so we're not going to show it. You know, I'm being extremely cautious here. This is the only thing I'm programming.
Okay.
But Thank you so much.
Sure. It was nice
you
meeting you.
You too. If you ever need anything from us, please reach out.
Okay.
You've got my contact now.
Yes,
So,
I do.
but guys, you can watch this story tonight over at News 6 and, of course, at News 6 Plus. And Eric Sandoval's story will also be streaming. Will also be airing this evening with Renee. And we'll see what kind of results Eric got for us. And then, of course, if there's more to be gotten, we'll make sure we get them. So thank you guys for joining. Renee, thank you so much for joining us. And we'll catch you guys on another episode maybe tomorrow. See you guys.